Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And thanks for watching In Depth on Now You Know.
Or maybe we're out of our depth.
It always seemed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this week, Elon had an M3 tweet storm going on. So much information. Some of it, I think, you really have to parse it because it's not just as simple as it seems.
Right.
Let's talk about the first one, which is the big one, which is the heads-up display.
Yes.
It appears from his tweets, if you read them just quickly, that he might be saying that there's not going to be a heads-up display on the Model 3.
Right. A lot of people have covered this story and basically have said there's going to be no HUD on the Model 3.
I just think you have to take it in context, first of all.
You have to take it with a little grain of salt because, I mean, this is in a tweet storm.
Right. And he tweeted, the second tweet is only 3 minutes after the first tweet. So it's not like he sat there for an hour contemplating what he was going to write. He might have just been driving or something and tweeted it out fast. So he never said specifically no heads-up display, even though someone asked him specifically. So I just want to be clear. If Elon wanted to say no, he could have said no. Second thing I want to point out is whether or not the car has a heads-up display. I think a lot of people have been getting way too upset. Whether or not it has it, it's still an amazing car.
Right.
It's not a Model S. It's not a Model X. Elon did make it clear during this tweet storm that you shouldn't be expecting that these cars are going to blow away the Model S and X. The Model 3 is a cheaper car.
Right. It's like half the cost.
Right.
So, I mean, you're going to be... The amazing thing is that you're still going to get the range.
Yep.
You're going to get autopilot.
Yep.
You're going to get...
The supercharger
It's
network.
an electric car.
Yes.
I mean, like, you're still getting all of that. And it's still, like, even the base level is going to be a punchy electric car. Like, It's not a boring mobile.
Right. Better than anything out there other than the Model S and X, basically, for the price. Just amazing. But, so, I would like to get back to the heads-up display. It is still possible, even with his tweets, because we've really read them closely, it is possible that there will be a heads-up display. What he said, he answered to the question was there will be one display.
And this is just a tweet. So, I mean, he could have meant...
It's right. It's in the tone.
There will still be a display.
Right.
Like
because people were
display.
asking him, how can you not have an instrument cluster which shows you the speed and so forth?
Right.
And he was
and
saying
so this is an interesting point. So, I mean, whether there's a HUD or not, I think personally, I don't care. I still want to buy this car because of all the other reasons. I did not go in thinking, I'm going to get this car because it's going to have a HUD. I mean, people are talking like it's a standard feature in most cars.
Right.
A HUD is not a standard feature in any car.
No.
Okay?
It has not been perfected either.
No.
I want to point out that an HUD, when it's sunny out, it can blur out all of what it's showing you because the sun might be in the wrong place. Also, at night, it might be very distracting because it's a lot more stuff on your windscreen that you may not want.
Sure. But regardless, whether it has a HUD or not, I don't care. Because to me, if I'm driving, I only need to see my speed. I don't need a tachometer because no RPMs. I don't need to see any kind of like temperature gauges. I don't need to see my fuel. Like, I don't need it right in front of my face. The only thing that I think that I would want would be the speed somewhere in that vicinity. But I mean, obviously with tactical cruise control, I can just set a speed that I like and then just be driving along like that. I don't think it's super important to have this front console. I think it's an outdated concept. I think that we're going to look back on it, even on like the S and the X, and we're going to kind of giggle to ourselves.
I think that's
like,
a really good point.
Boy, like, wow, did we think that we needed a whole lot of information right in front of our faces while we're driving?
I think a lot of the comments we've been getting from people are people that don't drive electric cars or don't drive autopilot cars as well. And so you don't understand how much things are changing in cars.
Yes.
You really don't need to glance down at your speed while you're driving. If you do need to see your speed, it can be over here on the right on a screen. There's no reason for it to be over there or in a heads-up display. I think a heads-up display would be cool if it had some kind of cool navigation stuff built in, but I think that will either come in future versions of the Model 3 or in upgraded versions.
Or an option or something like that.
An option, right. I don't think it needs to be in the $35,000 base price car.
Right.
So another thing that Elon mentioned in his tweet storm is that there'll be no dual motor cars released until 6 to 9 months from now. And we've done the math, and that means September to December would
Okay.
be the beginning of that launch.
So no 3D cars.
No 3D cars, which basically means that if you're looking for an all-wheel drive car, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. The reason they're doing that, most likely, is to get the launch up and running as fast as possible,
Right.
so that they have less configuration options in the beginning.
Yes.
That is going to upset some people. I know I want my car to have all-wheel drive because I'm in New England. A lot of the Canadians are going to want that. So, yes, that's going to push us off a little bit later.
But I would like to point out that it was going to take a while to get there anyway.
Yes.
Whether you wanted a D or not, getting your car was going to take probably in the September to December range.
Exactly.
And I am excited that people could be looking at getting a dual-wheel drive in the September to December range. Because
Right.
honestly, when we were coming in, when I was signing up for my Model 3, I was just hopeful that I would get it sometime within 2017.
Right.
Like, the fact that this year we could be seeing people driving Model 3s blows my mind. I was not expecting them to be on time this much. In the beginning, they're going to be giving most of the cars to Tesla and SpaceX employees.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be the guinea pigs, really. They're going to see
Right.
what problems are going to come up, and then they're going to go change those problems on the line. They're going to go fix those problems. So that way, all the new cars that most of the non-Tesla and SpaceX consumers are going to be, they'll be driving around.
Right. So it's actually not, as Jesse said, going to push it off much further than you would have already been. And
Right.
it's just nice to get confirmation. Elon also tweeted a cool little low-res picture, a video of a Model 3 driving along. And this doesn't give us much new information. I guess it does show that there are cameras, so we can see some of the 360 cameras.
Yep.
Some people have commented that the front end looks a little bit different than the pre-release. It's so rough,
I think it's
can't
very
tell.
hard to tell in this.
It is cool to see it in a new color. So this is the first time we've seen it in a glossy black.
Yep. It looks
And
very sharp.
it's cool just to see it, driving. I think that, again, this was very smart of Elon. He released a picture that doesn't tell us much, but it does get us talking. And it keeps us excited knowing that it's coming. So that
Right.
was really smart. But it could be hiding all sorts of things. Because it's low res, we can't tell if there's a heads-up display in there. We can't tell pretty much anything else about the car.
Right.
So another one of Elon's tweet storm releases this week had something to do with the battery.
Yeah, so basically people were asking him what size battery packs were going to be available. He said because of the smaller wheelbase of the car, it's 75 is going to be the max.
75 kilowatt hour, right?
Right.
And I also want to mention another tweet was asking him, are we going to see a P100D ludicrous, Model 3? He did mention that next year there will be a performance version released,
Right.
but he made it clear, if you're looking for performance, go to the Model S.
Right, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that if you're looking for the level of the Model S, which, let's be clear here, is kind of like a supercar in terms of acceleration and stuff like that. I mean, you have to get up to McLaren level things, the cars, to be getting some of the performance of a Model S.
I know. I think a lot of people were looking for these a supercar in a cheaper form factor.
Right, and I mean, you're going to be getting an amazing car, something that basically will outperform most luxury cars, mid-range luxury cars.
I think what Elon's been doing with this tweet storm was reminding a lot of people it's going to be months till the Model 3 comes out. If you're waiting for amazing Model S performance, then just go buy a Model S.
Right.
And I think we're seeing that some people are getting that message, which is, maybe that's really what I really wanted.
Right, and I mean, it's important to not get too overhyped about the Model 3.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be an amazing car, but keep in mind that, like, this isn't the next level. This is the next level in terms of...
For mass production.
In terms of
Right.
mass production and availability to people.
Right.
So that's why we're seeing
And
this.
he has a hard job because he's already released amazing cars, the Roadster, the Model S, the Model X. And then he has to come up with this car that has to wow everybody for a much lower price and not have all the same features. So
Right.
he's tweeted, it won't have all the same features.
Absolutely. So just, I think that's important to keep in mind. But don't get like super bummed out that there might not be a HUD or that there might
Right.
not be a 100D.
Yeah, keep your name on the list because,
I mean,
it doesn't hurt to have your name on the list.
it's super valuable to keep your name on the list. I mean, Although honestly, go right ahead. I mean, like if you're too bugged out by that,
Yeah.
go right ahead. Take your name off the list.
I'll get my car
I'll
sooner.
gladly scoot up the list. Thank you very much. I'd love to get my car before you.
We would love to see some of your comments because we're sure that you have probably many interpretations of his tweets. So please let us know if you think that we're wrong about the heads-up display.
Right.
Yeah. Keep in mind that we call the show out of our depth as well as in depth because we're not always right.
Right.
We're giving
just
you the
speculating just like everyone else.
Right.
But we thought that it was strange that everyone jumps to conclusions based off of like a 5-word tweet.
Right. Elon is always fun to interpret his tweets because he knows how to be specific if he wants to. He knows how to give you just enough information to get you excited.
Yep.
So it really will be exciting to see what's going to be in the car because we haven't seen the final release yet.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching this episode of In Depth. Coming out with the news every week is really fun for us. We have to, research a bunch of stories.
Read a lot of tweets.
And really get in depth on a lot of these topics. So if you want to support us, you can hit the subscribe button. That will let you see these videos as soon as they come out, especially if you hit the bell button. That will give you a little alert to your phone or email, however you do it.
And another way you can support us is if you're thinking of buying a Model S or a Model X, use our referral code. You'll get $1,000 off your car.
Right.
And we'll get some perks. So,
right. So I mean,
that's awesome.
That's a win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
Also, if you are like, I'm not going to be buying a Model S or X, like I'm a 14-year-old kid, that's totally cool too. Hit that like button. That's free. That's for free. And you can basically that will tell YouTube that you like the video, and it'll help share it to other people.
That's right.
Which is super great because we want to spread the message about
we get to
Tesla
see
and
that
about
you liked
electric
it.
cars. Yeah, and we get to see that you like the video.
That's what keeps us going.
So thank you so much for watching. Also,
Now you know.
Patreon.